Follow all Moasers news on his website, www.moasers.com. And on his Facebook Moasers and Instagram Moasers13 page 2. For daily exclusive publications.
Hello and welcome on Monsieur for this video dedicated not to the Montage M today, even if I have the t-shirt. You have the Modex Plus that come to me. I say to you on my announcement video about the subscription to become a Monsieur member that I will come back on the Modex. I will come back on the CK for dedicated ideas that I see on Facebook or that the members on the comments say to me. It can be a good topic, or I have some question. I say, great question. I can make a video about that. So today is the day for the Modex, and we are going to talk about the master mode today. Perhaps because I'm using a lot Camelot Pro, I do not think to do things about the master mode. I do some other video on the montage, but first generation, of course. But I do not cover this on the Modex. So let's go for the Modex Plus to cover the master mode. Shoot all along the video, because on the bonus we will see a dedicated case of using the master mode if you have two keyboards and you want to do several special things. I think it will be interesting for you. On the first part we are going to cover the basic of using the master mode. If you are not already a Monsieur follower, please click on subscribe and click on the bell to be informed when I release a new video. If you like the content, please press on like. And if you want to support the channel, you have two ways now. You have the super thanks bottom right video, and you can go in a Monsieur member, join the community, and have 1 month video from Monsieur in advance, just for you, dedicated posts, and also some others great things.
I've chosen a piano on my Modex Plus, the CFX Pop Grand. To simplify the video shooting, and instead of taking another keyboard or other hardware rack, I've chosen a virtual instrument, OBXD. I haven't actually done anything on the master settings. To explain to you an important point, I just have my part 1 on MIDI channel 1. My OBXD is obviously configured to respond to MIDI channel 1, and what happens? You hear the Modex Plus piano and OBXD playing together. It can be great, but it also cannot be necessarily what I wanted, especially if it's another keyboard connected as example. This is to explain that, basically, Modex Part 1 receives on MIDI channel 1, which you can't change, and transmits all the time on MIDI channel 1 if you're in multi-mode. Part 2 on MIDI channel 2, and so on. Make sure you stay in multi-mode, as this is how you can do the most. Let's take a look at the basic settings in Utility. We'll go to Settings, then Advanced, where we'll make sure the Zone Master is set to On. If you don't have the master screen in Edit part that appears, that's because you haven't set Zone Master on here. Device number, it can be useful, especially for Camelot Pro users, to be on 1 rather than on all. For use with software, it's better to be on 1 here. Make sure you're in multi-mode if you want to control several MIDI channels. In any case, as soon as you activate the master zone on a performance, even if you were in single, even if you were in hybrid, the performance will be automatically configured in the equivalent of multi-mode. Once we've made this configuration, we're ready to work on our performances. Either I click on the part on the screen, or I can also do this, and select the part like that. I can do Edit. On Modexes, we don't have the right-hand side panel like on the Montage. Everything I'm showing here works identically on the first generation Montage screens. In Edit part, we go to Part Settings here, we go to Zone Settings, and there, the zone is set to Off. You heard, I've got both sounds. I'm activating my zone. You don't hear OBXD. So what happens? Well, by default, the transmit channel is set to off here, and we'll see that this is something we can use in the bonus. I'm going to set MIDI channel 1 as for OBXD. If, for example, you have a rack with a part you want to use that's on MIDI channel 2, set it to 2, and so on. I'm not going to go through all 16 channels. We don't want to waste too much time on this video with a lot of boring explanations. So now, I've got my piano, I've got my OBXD sound. You're going to say to me, but me, for example, if I only wanted to play the OBXD sound from my Mod X Plus keyboard, without playing the internal Mod X piano sound, how do I do it? It's very simple. Look, you unactivate the internal switch, which means you don't play the Mod X internal part, you only play the sound of what's connected. Right now I'm connected through USB, so it obviously works the same way on the classic 5-pin DIN MIDI sockets. Does note limit work? Let's try. Hop. I do this. Don't forget to unset the keyboard pad that allow to defines the limit from your Mod X keyboard. But be careful, this applies to both. The Mod X's internal piano 2 follows this note limit range. If you want to have the piano on the whole keyboard, and OBXD on a limited range, here's my advice. In OBXD, I can't do it. But on another keyboard, on another rack that you want to play from your Mod X, I'd advise you rather, if you want to play the two sounds together, but keep the Mod X sound over its full range, to manage the note limit on your other keyboard or rack, or when it's available on your virtual instrument. Here, from this Mod X Plus master screen for this part, you inevitably lose piano part on that range by doing this here. Octaves. This will change the octaves, and will move around the screen like this. Transpose will transpose both Mod X and OBXD. Octaves are the same. The MIDI channel we've already seen. Of course, you'll be able to select a sound on another instrument, which is what's so interesting with the master function. Not only will we be able to play another sound, but we'll also be able to call a specific sound. We're going to use what we call the good old MSB, LSB, PC. To explain it simply way. MSB is the neighborhood you live in, LSB is the street you live on, and PC is the number of your house on the street. It's a simple explanation about the bank, page and program number on the page, to keep things easy and illustrate the point. You obviously need to let bank select and program change activated, if you want to be able to call up sounds. If you want to control volume and/or expression, you let them activated, and if you want to control pan, you let it activated. This is where we enter the MSB, LSB, and PC data. Often you'll need to go to your other keyboard or rack data list. This is the list where you'll find all the information for the keyboard or rack you want to control, and so you set the correct MSB and LSB. Program changes here, and if you want to manage volume and panning, this is the place to do it. Now you're going to say to me, I've set the right values, Joel, but it doesn't call the sound. It doesn't call because you haven't activated MIDI send. Notes and controllers are one thing, but here you need to send the MIDI command. And then you hear that it works, you activate the MIDI send, so that master screen can send this program data. As you can see, these are basic settings, so it doesn't take too long time to enter them. Although I'm going to use the mod wheel here. It's a bit Pac-Man now for OBXD sound. I don't want OBXD to receive data from the mod wheel. Let's say I haven't chosen a piano, I've chosen another sound on the Mod X Plus, it's well set up for the mod wheel so it sounds good when I use it. I play OBXD as an accompaniment, but I don't want it receive data from the mod wheel. Look, you've just got the screen below. Zone transmit. This is what you're going to transmit from your MODX controllers to another connected keyboard or rack or VST. Remember, I'm connected through USB. It works in the same way with the MIDI 5-pin DIN. In our example, you should let program change in bank select up, and for pitch bend up or down if you don't want pitch bend transmit, set it off for example. You don't necessarily hear the piano anymore, so you didn't hear what was happening at pitch bend, but you have here that OBXD wasn't receiving pitch bend data. If you do this, all control changes are unactivated, so you're not transmitting any more control changes. You can unactivate volume and expression, they're all grouped together. Pan, MW for modulation wheel, and now. You've heard that nothing happened because I unactivated the mod wheel transmission. You can also manage that for sustain, foot control 1, foot control 2, foot switch, assignable switch 1 and 2, motion sequence hold and trigger buttons. Let's also take a closer look to the assignable knobs. You don't want them to transmit, because here my assignable knobs control OBXD settings. For the course here, look. I'm not going to show you all the assignable knobs. I don't know how the default control changes are assigned on OBXD. If you need the assignable knobs for your MODX Plus sound, but they don't want to send anything with them to your connected VST or keyboard or rack, you'll disable the knobs. It's that simple.
Would you like to take in hand, learn or improve your knowledge of your Yamaha synthesizer or stage keyboard? Book your Moesu Masterclass now. Your private session is conducted online through Zoom. Take all benefit of Joel expertise for all these topics. It's available for users all over the world through Music Hackspace platform in English or in French. It's easy. Select your date and time from the Moesu calendar, available slots on your time zone. Choose your topic, and after your online personal meeting, you can download your session video to review it, as many anytime you need. And now, that's the bonus time.
For the bonus, I've kept the same performance. I haven't changed the OBXD sound, nor have I changed the view here on my MODX Plus. Still in master mode, let's look at few practical examples. Often, you're permanently connected through MIDI out, or even MIDI in. By default, the MODX Plus always sends its note and controller data without Zone Master set to on. I already answered this point at the video beginning, when I activated the Zone Master function. If I haven't activated the master zone, the MODX Plus always sends note and controller data. How can I prevent it from doing that? Because I play a song where, for example, it won't control the other keyboard connected through its MIDI in. As I explained at the video beginning, if you're on off, you only get the MODX Plus sound. You hear that it doesn't control OBXD. So, if you're always connected in MIDI to another keyboard, such as a digital piano with few sounds, you'll have to set this parameter to off on dedicate configurations. That way, you can be sure that your MODX Plus isn't transmitting anything. In another much more common case, you want to call up the OBXD sound and play it from the MODX Plus keyboard, but you don't want to play the MODX Plus sound, just sound of the connected keyboard, rack or VST. As we saw earlier, you turn off the internal switch and then that's all I've got. Let's take a look at an even more deeper case. Playing an internal MODX Plus sound, while at the same time calling up a sound from another keyboard, on which I'll play one of these internal sounds. If I activate internal switch like this, I inevitably have both together. How do I do this? That's where we're going to do a very simple thing, which will take one other part, but that's the way I've found. We're going to copy this part 1 onto part 2, so that everything is activated at master level. Here we do edit, which takes us here. We can let, for example, this here, and that one there. We unactivate the internal switch. Here I've unactivated the internal part. I transmits bank and program change info, but it also transmits the notes. How can I not transmit the notes? Take the note limit here and assign C-2 to C-2. So from the MODX Plus keyboard, you won't play any notes to your other keyboard, you'll send it program info, but with this range, it won't play the MODX Plus piano. On our part 2, we absolutely don't want to transmit any note or controller's data, so we'll set it to off. In fact, for this example, we're using everything we saw in the first video part. My part 2 plays the MODX Plus sound with the internal switch. I let it activate, but I don't transmit, I'm on transmit off. My part 1 sends the program data to OBXD, and it transmits fine, but we've tightened the note limit so as not to play the sound of the other keyboard from the MODX. You can't check this because I've set it to off, but I have indeed changed the sound. You can see it a little on the screen with the settings moving. If I put it back to you under control. You can hear that it transmits the MIDI data to change the sound, but it doesn't transmit the notes, since we blocked them here, and we can play our MODX Plus internal part with part 2.
This is video ending. I hope you have liked it. I hope you have find it interesting. As a reminder, you can book your Moesio Masterclass directly on the Music Arcspace platform. See you soon for one other Moesio video. Bye.
Would you like to discover, learn, or improve your knowledge of your Yamaha synthesizer or stage keyboard? Book your Moesers Masterclass now. Your private session is conducted online through Zoom. Take all benefit of Moesers' expertise, Yamaha synthesizers and stage keyboard specialist and consultant for Yamaha Music Europe and France. As member of International Yamaha Tech Talk live team, Music Hackspace instructor and host of the Camelot Pro Sessions, Joel take care of your experience level. Whether you're a beginner or a skilled user, get the most out of your Yamaha synthesizer, stage keyboard, John Mayla's software suite or Camelot Pro. Book your session for your personal Moesers one-to-one session. It's available for users all over the world through Music Hackspace platform. It's easy. Select your date and time from the Moesers calendar available slots on your time zone. Thank you for watching this Moesers video. Do not forget to click on like, subscribe and click on the bell to be informed when a new video is online. Do not hesitate to write a comment or ask a question. See you soon, bye!